to others and potentially fatal for myself.
So what are you going to do next?
My visit to Kiava Gamma did not produce answers to all my questions, but we did succeed in dealing a blow to the cult by destroying the Fabricator Sensor's machine. I have directed my spies to track the sect's surviving leaders. I am certain that they will have useful information for us soon. Though small, this is a victory for the Golden Throne, and I have you to thank for it.
Okay, so now I can be rid of you? No, okay. I think that will be all for now.
Thank you for finding the time for our conversation.
No, I don't want you to leave. I want the Inquisition to take care of Idira. No, I'm bored of Iliad. No. So what can you do as a psyker?
The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Sanctic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
Okay. How long have you served in the Inquisition? Yeah.
Since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I return from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space.
You visited many wars during your service, I'll wager.
Indeed. I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the archenemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terror, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the segment's other worlds.
So what duties have you been carrying out for the Inquisitor?
You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you?
Of course I will. For someone who's been in service for decades, you certainly look young.
The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today.
So let's change the subject.
Gladly.
You're not the Inquisitor's only acolyte, correct? No, I want to discuss the cult of the Final Dawn. What can you tell me about it?
The cult's ordinary members are humans who have been corrupted by the archenemy, traitors to the Imperium, and accomplices of chaos. Participation in the cult's rituals always entails brainwashing, literally and figuratively. The longer cult members spend among other cultists, the less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. The worst of them go to their deaths without an inkling of doubt, ready to take hundreds and thousands of souls with them. As for those at the top of the cult's hierarchy, we have not yet managed to get a lead on all of the cult's leaders. I imagine that some of them are hiding in the depths of the Coronis Expanse. But those who are orchestrating the fanatics on nearby worlds are hiding very well indeed, or receiving protection from above.
Remind me, what is your mission regarding the cult?
I need to confirm the reports from my agents. According to them, one of the cult's leaders is in the Kiava Gamma segment, an industrial world within the dominion of the von Phalantius dynasty. I hope you won't impede my investigation.
We actually finished that thing. So what do you mean protection from above?
Governors, commanders, rogue traders. History is full of those who neglect their duty to the Golden Throne and seek allies in the wrong places.
You seem to have been investigating this cult for some time.
We discovered the first traces of it as soon as we arrived in the Coronis Expanse. Since then, the more we learn, the better we see just how far the roots of this blight extend. Destroying individual cells is pointless. We must cut this beast off at its head.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
As you wish.
Yeah, let's... I know nothing about you, Heinrix. I'm literally debating between replacing Abelard with Heinrix. Though... because he has that siphon thing, siphon life thing. So he can also heal. But Abelard feels a little more tanky. So, I know nothing about you, Heinrix. Could you tell me a little about yourself?
I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained, and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium.
Okay. Tell me about the black ship.
Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry psychers who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers. Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
Heinrix nods wordlessly.
You are not the Inquisitor's only acolyte, correct?
Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I've never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Coronis Expanse, I have been working alone.
Wandering among the stars without family or friends, don't you get lonely? If you're an interrogator, does that mean you hold a special position in the retinue? Or are there any acolytes in the Coronis Expanse? Okay.
Such as?
Alright, I must take my leave.
Heinrix politely inclines his head in response.
Let's upgrade Abelard. So yeah, Abelard, you get a toughness. And here, let's see, what do you... okay, this is already enduring shield. So, oh yeah. So while the Vanguard has at least one temporary, ooh, you get this one. Look at you. Okay, and so this one you already have. Until the start of the turn, the Vanguard gains damage deflection against range attack equal to the number of stacks of unyielding beacon. Ooh. The Vanguard forces an enemy in their melee range to immediately attack the Vanguard. All the Vanguard's allies who are wielding melee weapon and adjacent to the enemies make an attack opportunity against the enemy. The enemy suffers bonus more damage from this attack's opportunity, or follow my lead. Until the start of their next turn, the Vanguard and all their allies gain 60% damage and 16% armor penetration against enemies in 2 cell radius around Vanguard. If the Vanguard moves, the area of this effect moves accordingly. Following, the character can move to any cell within their line of sight. This is not bad. What? The Vanguard chooses an ally. All enemies in a 3-cell radius around this ally must make willpower. On a failed test, the Vanguard becomes their priority target. Yeah, so... yeah, let's do this one. Provocation. And... oh my god, look at this cross. Totally. And you? Argenta. So you get ballistic skills. And let's see. Have some favorites? No. Which one would be nice? Whenever an ally kills prey, the bounty hunter gains half of the bonuses granted. No. Whenever a bounty hunter scores a crit, these are very small probability. Whenever an enemy is killed by a crit. Whenever a bounty hunter scores a crit. Gruesome. Whenever prey is killed, all enemies in a 10-cell radius around the prey have their agility reduced. This is good. Yep. We're gonna scare the bejesus all the enemies. This. Piercing shot. The bounty hunter next attack during the turn will have... oh yeah. And Pascal, I don't really care. I don't like Pascal. Okay, so let's see. What do we have as missions? Oh, we have contracts. Look at that. And yeah, complete year. And we can give... yep, complete. They just show up out of nowhere. Oh my god. Okay. Quests. So let's see. One of the ship's fuel levels is in a poor state. Inspect it and diagnose the problem. Certain matters demand the rogue's personal attention. One of the ship's fuel levers. Okay, where is the fuel levers? Where is the fuel levers? It must be somewhere. Let's see, where could they be? Here? Here, activate the control panel. Yeah, this is the fuel.
Fuel system analysis in progress. // status. Diagnosing. // result. No failures detected. System operational.
You've seen the tech priest blessing that thing with the smoke. Okay. Okay, inspect. The ship's Vox system is in need of thorough calibration. Meet with the Vox Master. So let's talk with the Vox Master. The Vox Master is... Vox Master, here. Need to make sure that the ship is okay.
When you approach, Vigdis pulls away from fine-tuning another Vox and bows her head.
Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting.
My personal log states that the ship's Vox system is malfunctioning. Can you explain?
Lord Captain,
The Vox Master is caught off guard by your question. It takes her a moment to find her words.
The Vox system is functioning as expected and no communication problems have been reported by any of the crew. Please allow me to check the system's calibration settings in your presence to alleviate any concerns you may have about its performance.
The Vox Master's thin fingers dart between hundreds of wires and cables on the control panel. Flipping switches and turning dials, she issues commands and methodically checks the lines of communication with the crew on every deck. At last, accompanied by the sound of static, the crackling of the Vox, and the flickering of signaling lights, the dance of her hands concludes.
All finished, Lord Captain. No issues detected. The system is working as expected.
She studies your face as she awaits your response.
Thank you for your service, Mistress Tolliman.
Lord Captain.
She offers an unusually deep bow, likely using it to mask her confusion.
All right. Another one. The Forgotten Twin Sister is of particular interest to the rogue trader. Forgotten Twins? I don't want to go Forgotten Twin Star System. So this is find the hidden cache on... Okay, I don't care about that. A new ruler. A stranger among us. The Lady Navigator is at odds with crew. It's a little missions here. Forgotten Twins, Tenebri Acque. Talk to the Master of the Seals. Mundus Nullius. The rogue trader has seen fit to observe his enforcers at work and grace the investigation with his presence on the officer's deck. Okay, let's go on the officer's deck. Yeah, let's see who put blood into my bathtub. Officer's deck. Okay, not you. Abelard. Okay.
Sourback barks at the officers gathered before you.
His Lordship the Rogue Trader has seen fit to honor us with his presence in order to monitor the course of the investigation. You are expected to perform your duties immaculately and report your every step to me. Should any of your actions bring shame to the enforcers, you will answer to me personally. Lord Captain, the 3 officers before you have been tasked with conducting the investigation. The first, Captain Klein, is a veteran with a record of quelled uprisings of mutant abominations in the colonies. Captain Ginevra is young, but she has already preempted several mutinies among the ship's rabble. Lastly, there is Captain Hrotko. His interrogation skills deserve credit, and he knows how to instill fear and respect firmly in the minds of the riffraff.
You notice the enforcers exchange a few astounded glances and throw their shoulders back. Apparently, they are not used to standing so close to figures as renowned as you. After carefully assessing the officers' bearing and their uniforms, Abelard nods with satisfaction.
Their drilling is good, their service records are excellent. Let's see how they perform in the field.
I cannot help but notice all the looks of awe. Is my presence going to distract you from your duties? So what are your findings thus far?
We have discovered a worker's corpse, mutilated and desiccated. We are still looking into the man's identity and position, but the chirurgeon's report has confirmed that, among all the blood that was pumped into your bath chamber, the blood-carrying mutations was indeed his. The workers from the nearby decks have all been checked for genetic aberration, but the mutations identified are all within the norm for laboring masses. They are being rounded up for interrogation as we speak.
Earliet frowns as she surveys the deck.
So much noise and empty violence. I am surprised you are able to find anything in this pandemonium of your own making.
I cannot help but notice all the looks of awe. Is my presence going to distract you from your duties?
On the contrary, your lordship. Your presence inspires us.
Captain Ginevri's cheeks redden.
Your lordship, I hope you do not take this as insolence, but I am a great admirer of yours. I've read the fictionalized account of your deeds many times.
I'm flattered. Now, let us get back to business.
Yes, Lord Captain. If you have any questions, I am ready to answer them.
Even taking into account the neighboring decks only, that constitutes hundreds of people. How do you plan to question them all?
Our interrogation techniques are broad and varied. However, nothing loosens the tongue like corporal punishment, beatings, mutilations, torture, public executions.
Sourback almost purrs as she lists ways of making people suffer.
When combined with psychological pressure, such methods work wonders.
It is inhumane. I order that you immediately cease using these barbaric methods.
Lord Captain, these methods may be brutal, but their effectiveness has been proven over centuries of practice. No criminal will confess if you ask them politely. But if you shatter their finger and courteously remind them how many unshattered bones they still have left in their body, that is a different conversation altogether. That is how the truth is born.
I have faith that my master at arms is capable of finding other methods of seeking out the truth.
Sourback's glove creaks as she grips her maul. Her gaze remains cold and calm.
As you command, Lord Captain.
So do you have any working theories?
The mutants are plotting.
Klein spits in disgust.
They've been breeding like void rats, so they're getting cocky. Must have wanted to infect your lordship with their plague.
It wasn't an attempt on the Lord Captain's life, it was a threat. The rabble are planning a revolt, so they're trying to terrorize us. Soon, you will drown in blood. Insurgents pride themselves on such metaphors. Meanwhile, Captain Hrotko is convinced that it was the work of Voigtvir's surviving cultists. However, I believe this to be a warning rather than a threat. What we need to establish is who is trying to warn us and of what.
What do you propose we investigate first?
The body. Once we have ascertained the dead man's identity, we'll be able to locate his associates and narrow down the number of suspects. Captain Klein is in charge of examining the corpse.
Yes, your lordship, I'm almost done with my report. As soon as it's ready, I'll deliver it to you.
Okay, then let us begin.
While we wait for Klein to report back, please enjoy the refreshments that have been prepared for you, Lord Captain.
Captain Klein snaps to attention.
Identifying the victim has proven impossible. His face has been smashed in and his body is badly maimed. There are too many wounds to determine the exact cause of death, but presumably he died after the killer slit his throat. That's how they drained his blood. No external signs of mutation were found.
In other words, we have nothing. Klein, this isn't a report. It's a declaration of our incompetence before the Lord Captain. You will keep digging around inside that corpse until you have produced some results.
Yeah, study the enforcer's face.
Ginevri looks at Klein with sympathy. She clearly cares about him, but does not wish to trample on her comrade's honor with words of comfort. Hrotko regards Klein with a contemptuous smirk, while Klein scowls back at him.
So no external signs of mutation, you say? What about internal signs?
Performing an autopsy was inadvisable due to the danger of contaminating the area with genetic aberration.
You see a flash of genuine horror in Klein's eyes before his gaze turns glassy. You have seen that look before in the eyes of other veterans. It's the expression of someone reliving painful memories that have left behind deep scars. They cannot hope to overcome such trauma on their own. They would need help, or a partner, or perhaps some strong emotional stimulus.
So I have heard that Medicaid officers often perform autopsies in pairs. One cuts up the body, the other records the finding. You should get a partner, not Klein, or turn away from Klein. It would seem that I had an exaggerated opinion of this veteran's courage. He should get some rest. Let Hrotko take over his duties. Yeah, let's give him a partner.
According to regulations, one enforcer is required for this duty. However, your lordship's proposal is reasonable. Did you have someone specific in mind?
Yeah, Hrotko seems like a capable one.
At once.
Hrotko smirks.
You're getting old, Klein. Let me give you a refresher on gutting mutants.
Klein's lips tremble. His eyes bulge. He seems unable to stop wiping his reddened hands with a rag soaked in disinfectant.
Disgusting. Unspeakable. You can't even imagine what's inside that thing. They should have burned the body right there and then. Whoever killed him should have just finished the job. The wounds were so brutal I almost missed his work tattoo. The victim was a pipe warden. And I found this in his throat.
Klein presents a blood-stained raven feather. It is difficult to say why. It could be meant as a symbolic gesture, or perhaps a message.
And what does this feather mean?
The killer wanted to tell us something. It can be difficult to make sense of a murderer's twisted logic.
What tattoo? What do pipe wardens have to do with anything?
The Pipe Wardens are a worker clan that services the ship's sewer systems. The tattoo indicates the worker's status and personal number. This one was
SP-246-01. Senior Pipe Warden.
Okay, Klein, I wish to give you a class of Amasek for your good work. You look like you need it.
Klein accepts the glass and downs it instantly. Evidently, he is in no state to savor the bouquet and taste of the fine drink you have offered him.
Well, at least you did something useful in your second attempt. Now, what is your next step?
we should run the victim's identification number through the masterwork log cogitator. If its machine spirit favors us, we will be able to narrow down the number of suspects. Ginevri, this is your arena.
Alright, let's find out. Receive the report.
Ginevri approaches you, followed by a dignified woman in crimson robes.
Allow me to introduce the esteemed tech priest Andro Vetify. She believes she has the right to obstruct the investigation and refuse to grant the enforcers access to the master cogitator.
The tech priest lets out an indignant Heinrix trill.
I request that the laywoman's willful activities be halted. She intends to torment the machine spirit of the masterwork log cogitator Iota 3B. The venerable spirit is ill and in no disposition to endure such abuse.
What is the problem with the machine spirit?
The spirit is old and quick to anger. It therefore calls for a sensitive approach, not a torturous intrusion by a brutish laywoman. Since the start of this watch, the spirit has been unwell, so we have been trying to soothe its woes by applying sacred unguents and sensing the great machine's boards. The dogma of data-recuperative quarantine prohibits any disturbances to blessed machines found to be in such a state. When I'm old and cantankerous, I'll demand aromatic unguents and a hookah to fumigate my sacred lungs too. Then again, why wait?
What exactly does this data recuperating dogma prescribe?
Let no profane hand touch the sacred machine stricken. Let the mechanism be shielded from all worldly troubles by a veil of righteous litany, and let its shrine be thrisely honored till the malady is no more.
Judging by Ginevri's expression, she would rather have her profane hands touch Andro Vetify's neck.
Okay, so lay